Hi, in today's video I'm going to be taking a look at adding a custom image to Firefox backgrounds with a CSS animation. So what I'm going to do is switch across to Google Chrome, or Chromium rather, and show you how Chromium renders background images. If I open up Chromium, give it a second, as you can see the image fades in, and the way you add an image is you come down to the little customize this page, you upload your image, and once you've done that you'll get an image, and when you open a new tab you'll see it has a nice fade-in effect. So what we want to do is replicate that for Firefox. So if I come across here, this is a Git repository for Firefox CSS and user.js, and what I'll do is just demo how this looks. So if I open a new tab here, you'll see that the image fades in like that. So what we're going to do is have a look at how we set this up. So the first thing you need to do is actually enable user legacy style sheets. There's two ways you can do this. You can do this through about config or by using the user.js file which you would put in your Firefox profile. So the first thing that we want to do is actually have a look at the profile directory. So about profiles. This will show you the path to where the active profile is, and you can just do open directory and it will open the directory here. And as you can see at the bottom, what we have here is the user.js file, and this is used so that you, instead of using about config and changing the settings in there, which can be difficult to keep track of, what you can do is put all the settings in the user.js file that you would normally activate through about config, so you've got an exact record of them. So we put the user.js file in there, and we create a directory called Chrome, and in there we've got a directory called img, which has got our image in it, and we have two files here, user.chrome.css, which is for styling the Firefox interface, and user.content.css, which is used to style websites, and in this case the Firefox about page. So what we're going to have to do is have a quick look at the settings here in Firefox, and if I come to home here, what you'll see is I have home page and new windows set to blank page. And the reason that's important is because we're going to be actually styling that particular URL. So what we're going to do, we come across to here, let me open these files. So user.js. Up here what we've got is, let's just zoom that in a bit so you can see it a bit better. User.pref toolkit legacy user profile customizations.style sheets true. Now you can also activate this through about config. So if I just copy that and come across to about config and paste that in, what you'll see is this is a Boolean value. It's either true or false, and by default it's false. So you can either go to about config and then change this to true from false, or the method I would recommend is actually creating a user.js file with all your settings that you tweak in about config, and this way it's much easier to keep track of all the settings you've applied, and if there's an upgrade in Firefox that breaks one of these settings or something, you can easily comment it out. So a couple of ones we've got here, we've got disable pocket, we've got don't display the download pop-up that comes up normally, and in Firefox 106 what we're doing is we're hiding the new tab manager thing that I don't use. So that's the user.js file, and then inside the Chrome file in directory, what we've got here is the user content.css. So if we have a look at this section here, this is the block of code, and what we've got here is @mos document URL about home, about new tab, and about blank. You can also style the private page, private browsing. You can also split these up into different sections. So you could style about home, about new tab, and about blank separately. But what we're doing here is we're adding a background image. So what you can see here is the URL is img and then the name of the image. And again, that is, let me just do that about profiles thing again, about profiles. If I can spell it properly, profiles. So we open that directory, and in the Chrome directory here, so there's the user CSS, and then there's the Chrome directory that you have to create. And you can see we've got the two CSS files and the image directory with the image there. So let me just come back out of here. So you can see the URL for the background image is img and then the image name. And what we've got here is we set the opacity to 0, and then what we do is we have a animation, fade in animation, ease in for 0.07 seconds. Yeah, and then we have the iteration count, so it's only going to do it once. Fill mode and transition time in linear, they may not be necessary. And what we've got down here is the keyframe, so fade in animation. So that this references this section here, fade in animation. This is the keyframes for that. And basically all we do is we have 0 and 100, and at 0 the opacity is 0, and at 100% it's 1. So that's all you need to do, is put that block of code in your user content.css file like so. Just put that in, and then when you open a new tab you'll have that nice little animation there. So you can see if I, yeah, so you can see it sort of fades in. So what you can do is basically adjust the settings here. So what I'm going to do is actually show you how, the easiest way to play around with this, because you don't want to do the development work, you know, change the image and the animation actually inside Firefox, because for it to pick up the changes you've got to restart Firefox. So what we're going to do is actually just create a HTML page on the desktop and put in the code so that you can play around with it. So we'll switch across to the desktop, test.html, HTML5, turn on emit mode, Control C J, is it? Oh, so emit expand line, I think it is, emit expand line. Okay, there we go. So what we've got there is our blank HTML document, and what we're going to do is to put a style in here, and again closing bracket for the style, and just copy that code across. Oops. So we're just going to copy this code across, and we don't want this section up here. We just want this bit down here we're going to be doing the development with. We'll just copy this across into the style, and we'll just change this to let's just call this test.jpg. So what we're going to do now is let's find a image that we can use as a test. So let's search for a baboon's arse. Let's see if we can find a nice photo of a baboon's arse. Okay, yeah, great. Baboon's arse, there we go. So let's visit that and just use it as a test. Okay, there we go. And we'll save that image Is that saved? Okay. We just move that to the desktop as test.jpg, and then we'll come back here and open that text file, that HTML page. There we go. So we can see a nice fading baboon's arse. There we go. I'm not suggesting that you'd actually want to use that as your background image, but it's just funny. So again, we can just refresh that. And so let's change the actual, let's change the fade on it. So what we could do is make the fade longer. So, you know, if we want to have a 1.5 second fade, and we could do, let's do, we'll play with the iteration count in a second, but if we refresh this, we've got a much slower fade there, you see, like that. Can we change the iteration count to 2? Will it do 2? There we go. 2 baboons' arses for the price of 1. So let's do 3, and let's change the timing to something shorter, so 0.5, and then come across a flashing baboon's arse, even better. So you can see the possibilities are endless. We'll just change that to 1.5, change that to 1. You can do ease in, ease out, or just, I'm just setting this to ease in. But again, what we've got here in this HTML page, basically a simple HTML page with the style, the body, just put in the code there, and then you can play around with it and get the timing and everything right. Refresh the page, and we've got a slow fading baboon's arse. So it's just funny every time. So that's what it's going to look like with a 0.7 animation. Basically, the steps very simple. Either open about config like so, about config, change that to true, or as I said, create a user.js file like this and put it in the profile directory. And then we've got the user content.css. As you can see here, this is styling the about home, about new tab, and about blank. And again, about blank, remember to come across to your settings, home, set the home page and new windows to blank page. And once you've done that, it's actually going to style those. And then we've got other stylings down here for things like YouTube, DuckDuckGo, transmission, torrent client. So I use this to change the appearance of the transmission web UI to a dark mode. And then at the bottom, what I've got down here is a setting for the Arch Wiki, so that we have a I'll come across here. You see that setting changes the Arch Wiki to have a full width design instead of the default, which if I just open Chromium, you see the default on the Arch Wiki looks like this, which is just awful, and I don't know why they ever changed it. But in Firefox, we override that, so we've got a proper sort of web page that you can actually read. I'll put links to all this under the video, but basically all you need to do again is copy the user.js. The user Chrome is for styling the interface, and the user content.css is for styling domains, or in this case, the new tab blank page URLs in Firefox. Just do about profiles, open the directory, they put in the user.js file, create the Chrome directory, put in the CSS files, create the image directory, put in your image, and then restart Firefox. And once you've done that, you'll have a nice fading image. So that's basically the gist of it, and the idea behind it was to basically replicate the fade in we get in Chromium and do the same thing in Firefox. And again, let me just switch back to the HTML page. Okay, so if you want to play around with this, just create a blank HTML page with a head and body. Put in the style tags there, and just copy the bit of code. Again, the bit of code we want when you're doing the test in a web page, you don't put the top bit in, you just put this bit in here. And omit the closing bracket. That bracket is related to there, so just copy that across into your HTML page. Put in the URL of the image, and once you've got everything working, you'd want to finally change it to like, say if I do img test and just come across here, make directory img nv test, and would help if I was in the right directory. Okay, so move that test.jpg into img, just so we've got the same sort of path. So that's going to be a similar path to how you set it up in Firefox. And then again, just come across, open the HTML page, and there we go. Isn't that brilliant? So, yep, a fading baboon's arse as a background for Firefox. Obviously, other animals' arses are available, but they may not be quite as funny. But that's the gist of what we want to try and do, and very easy to do. Just takes a couple of minutes, and it will give your Firefox a nice little bit of bling. And again, you can change the speed of this. So 0.7 I found was a nice sweet spot. That's probably not the right word to use while talking about a baboon's arse, but there you go. So this will be a 0.7. And if you want to have a longer one, you could put it to like 1.7 or whatever. And there we go. So that's Firefox. There we go, Firefox CSS. So that's how you can set a custom image in Firefox and also have a CSS animation. You could also have lots of other animations. You can zoom things in and ride them about and that sort of thing. But basically, the way it works is you just have the animation name here, and then you set the keyframes. So you can put additional keyframes in here, 10, 20, 30, 40%, going up to 100, and gradually increment it by 0.1, 0.2 till you get to 1%. And this is just a quick and dirty way to do it. We add the image, make sure the image covers the whole screen here, set the opacity, fade in animation, and that's all there is to it. Unfortunately, it's it's much easier in Chromium to do this. You just upload an image and it's set as the background image. But in Firefox, you've got to do a bit more work and enable the custom style sheets, create the CSS, and put the image in. But it doesn't take that long, and just allows you to personalize Firefox however you like. So that's the Firefox version, and there we go. That's the Chromium, and that's the Firefox. I'll put links to all this under the video, and just because it's funny, I'm just going to show you that again. There we go. So I'll put links to all this under the video, and hope that helps make Firefox a bit more usable, a bit more, easy on the eye. Saying that with a picture of a baboon's arse there, but I just find it really amusing. So I'll put links to all this under the video. Easy to do, going to take you a couple of minutes, and then you can add your own custom image, whether it's a football team, your sports team, or a big hairy baboon's arse. So that's all for now, and hope that helps out.